If you can unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you want to use the chat box, you can do that, and I'll do my best to pay attention to it. So the importance of Google My Business really comes out of that social media class, right? 92%, over 92% of all searches happen on Google. And so we want to make sure that Google's really, really happy with you and your business, and make sure that you have as much exposure as you possibly can. So when you Google, this is going to be from basic and moving up. So when you Google something, let's just say real estate agents in Linwood. What your hope and goal is to be right underneath these ads. So these ads are people who have paid to be at that listing, and you can see that we end up as #1 right here, which is awesome. We want that. When you Google us specifically as Real Estate Century 21 Real Estate Center, you will see our Google My Business comes up here on the right-hand side. Okay, this is what Google My Business is. So this is, as a company, what it looks like. So what we're going to talk about is how to set this up as an agent, and then how to utilize this as an agent that potentially gets you more views, and how you can promote your listings and things like that using Google My Business. So I'm going to show you when you search my name. So there's a lot of Teresa Jordans in the world. It's not a super uncommon name. So I'm going to do it as Teresa Jordan Real Estate. Unfortunately, because I manage it from this computer, I had it all set up so I was going in incognito, and I just didn't have time to get that set back up. It shows me how I can edit my information right here on the front page. But what you're wanting to look at is on the right-hand side here. This is what would show up if you had a Google My Business page. On my Google My Business page, I do link the address to the office because I am here primarily. If I was an agent who had a home office, I wouldn't have any address listed at all. You can list an address. You are going to have a very difficult time listing our address, because once it's claimed, it's a little more difficult to verify that. I would just say keep it off altogether. Then you'll be able to do things like set your hours. So I set mine from 8 to 10 every single day. As an agent, you can change that if you want. Make sure your phone number's on there. And then I have a appointment calendar so that if people clicked on this, they can go and book appointments directly with me. That's something that you could or couldn't, you don't have to do. There's also an About Me section. And then this is an area that I'm not utilizing as an agent, but I should be if I was promoting myself, and an area I'm going to teach you how to do today. So when I look at Century 21, I want you to see their Google My Business and how they're utilizing that space down below, which is to promote listings or events. You can promote an upcoming event too. So let's start off with how to have a Google My Business page. So Bill, I know you have one. Nick, I don't know if you have one or not, but you do have to have a Google account. Go ahead, Nick, I didn't hear you.
I do, but it's still got the SJA address. I think you and I chatted when I first came on board, and we were thinking maybe just keep it for a second because of the east side, but I should probably at the very least have Century 21.
Yeah, and then also you can take the address out altogether, which again, I prefer as an agent for the reason that then there's no nobody assuming, well, oh, you're in Linwood, you couldn't service my property in Bellevue, right? We just need to keep that off of there altogether. So just for the matter of the recording, for Google My Business, you do have to have a Google account. The easiest way to access Google My Business is the little pins up here in the right-hand corner, and then scroll down to what looks like the little marketplace button. This is very similar to Facebook's marketplace. And when you click on that, it will take you to your Google My Business. Now I have multiples here. This one I have tried to delete like 83 times, but I can't get it to go away, so whatever. There's mine as a person, and then there's the companies. I'm gonna go into the companies because they are a little bit more robust than mine, and this is all things you can do as a agent. So once you're in here, it's going to show you some really basic information. You can create posts in here, add photos, blah, blah, blah. It will show you what an ad would look like if you wanted to run an ad. And then it will talk about your latest posts, your reviews are in here, and there's some analytical data. So this is kind of your dashboard. This right here about the functionality is just saying, hey, because of COVID, we're a little bit slower in our response time. Posts pretty much happen right away. On the left-hand side, you're going to see all kinds of things, and these are what we're going to kind of talk about today. On the left-hand side, the post button. So these are posts that you can have, and they will show up under your Google listing. So we had some classes that we were opening up to people that were here, and then we have listings that we have in here too, and I'm going to show you how to add those listings. So there's multiple buttons up here. Don't worry about this COVID update. That's for you to do an update to your business if COVID's affected your business hours or your brick and mortar store. Add an offer is really for people who are selling something. You could put your listings under add an offer, but it doesn't give you the ability to write as much information as I have down here. So I tend to just do it as a post, not as an offer. Okay, and then add an update and add an event. An event will be a more specific, they'll have a calendar there, date and time type of thing. So if I hit add an update right here, I would click to add a photo. I'd select my photo. It does have to be a certain size. So for your listings, you want this to be a big, good quality size photo. And then you can write your post. What's really interesting about this little button here is it's tiny. So if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, there's this teeny tiny little line. That means this is expandable. So what I like to do here is write for sale underneath that, the property address. Excuse my being slow. This is a little higher up than I'm used to typing. And then under that, I do the MLS number. And then what I would recommend here is that you copy and paste what your description is and then clean it up. So I'm just going to copy this description and paste it here. And what I mean by clean it up is we have to abbreviate a lot in the MLS. We don't have to abbreviate in here. So if there's spots that you could, if you were abbreviating the word bedroom, you added a lot of and signs, you would actually write and, things like that. Okay, so we're going to clean this up so that it looks like a full paragraph rather than the summary that is required in the MLS. And then I always suggest that you add a button. So the button that I would always do would be learn more. So you want to learn more about this property, right? And so then we need to drive traffic back to your site. So how do we do that? That's really important. You can do this in two ways. You can go to your Zap site as a consumer would. So you all have that. We'll use Bill. Well, no, we'll use Nick because he has, Nick, I don't know if yours is your full name. I think it is. I know you also have Nick's Realty team. I just realized as I was doing this. You can come right into your listing here, click on this listing, and then copy and paste your URL. Obviously not going to copy and paste this one into the one I'm creating. So the other way is to go to our website and find your listing here, or find any listing since you're allowed to share listings from within inside the firm. I'm going to find this listing. Should have found this already. Sorry about that, guys. And I do it this way because I want to make sure that, so now I just confused the, computer. And so now it thinks that I'm logged into Nick's site and I don't want to link this or all those leads, Nick, would come to you, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm pretty sure you don't want to go to Montesano. So What I would be doing though is copying and pasting this right into this button here and then hitting publish. You can preview it to make sure that it's working correctly. Let me open up a new browser really quick and just go to, give me 1 second. There we go. So when we're doing it as a firm, we want to make sure that the leads are coming directly to the agent that listed, but if you're sharing others, you can. So then this will pop up and say that you just posted it and you can see all that information. And then when I'm looking at Google Century 21 or you, I will see all of that information down here. So it does take it a second. It will give you a little notification that it's been posted. So let me refresh this and we should be able to see it then. We'll give it another minute. We'll come back to it. So that's what the posts are, okay? I highly recommend that you use these posts if you were ever hosting a first-time homebuyers class, if you were ever any kind of listings that you do. When we have the ability to do open houses as an agent, I would be posting my open houses on here, anything that you possibly can do. And here's the thing, when somebody types into Google the MLS number, your Google My Business will pop up. If they type in the address, your Google My Business will pop up. So as much exposure that we can give you as possible is what we're trying to do here, okay? Under info on the left-hand side, pretty basic information. This is where you edit everything. Again, you don't have to have an address, so you can take that out of there. For a long time, they required it, but they stopped requiring an address because there's so many at-home businesses and people are coming away from brick and mortar more and more. So you can make those changes here. And then I would put as many of these links as you possibly can. So your website, if you have an appointment website, you could just direct people back to your website if you wanted, whatever you want to do there, okay? On the insights, this is going to talk to you or tell you about the traffic you're getting. So over the last month, when people Google Century 21, we've shown up 187 times. When they've Googled Century 21 Real Estate Center, 45 times. You get the point. So these are the different things that have shown up when people have Googled it. And then it shows us how many total searches in the last month we've showed up. Is it because of brands, discoveries, or direct lookup? All this kind of data you can get from that site. These are kind of fun. If people are calling us, what days they're calling us, all that kind of stuff. And you'll get those kind of data points as well. Reviews. So these are the reviews that have come onto our site. I highly recommend that if you get a review on Google that you respond to that review. So you do that here. You just hit haven't replied and then you hit the reply button and you just thank the person for their Google review. How do you give somebody a Google review? If we come up in here, write a review, it's going to ask me it's going to link to my Google account. If I am not logged in, it would make me log in. So you cannot do a Google review unless you have a Google account, which is why people trust Google reviews so much, because they're validating that they're an actual person. So you could just leave a 5-star review, or you could put in some comments here. You could add photos and then post it. Those are then automatically going to show up on your Google page, on your Google My Business page, and then you can reply to those. You will get a notification of a new review. I would ask people to do these reviews. So once you have your Google My Business page done, all you have to do is come in here and just say, hey, could you Google my name real estate? And I would just link that for them and then ask them to hit the write the review button and ask them to do a review for you. Okay. Any questions so far? Everybody's, yes, you good?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. This might be off topic. Is this kind of like the same Google Analytics Does that coincide
Yeah.
with each other?
It's similar to the Google Analytics. Google Analytics, you attach to the back end of a different site, not Google specific,
Okay.
and that will give you all that analytical data. Honestly, Google Analytics goes even deeper. It can like pinpoint URLs and all kind, or IP addresses and all kinds of stuff. Good question. Okay, so then back over here to messaging, you can install a messaging app through Google if you wanted to. I think that if I was selling a product, I probably would be doing that because then people can message you right through here. I can't give you the talk points about how effective this is for real estate agents, but what I can say is that anything you can do to make it easier for people to contact you, the better. So there's no harm in having this. It's just another avenue of people reaching out to you. Photos, you can upload past sales in here. Obviously, we have our office and some of our past events are posted on here. You can put videos too. You could add services. So if you wanted to put real estate broker, listing specialist, first-time home buyer specialist, I would add as much as you possibly could in here because those are all going to help with your Google search. Okay, when people are searching. You have a Google website. A lot of people don't know about that. So if you've never clicked on it before, it will do create website. You can come in here and change the themes so that it matches more with who you are. Like this is really bubbly and kind of insane, but whatever. So it will link all of the posts you've ever done onto that website. Once you hit publish, this is your URL for that site. It's just another way to be found, okay? Or you can buy a specific URL through them. I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't. I'd really focus your website energy onto your Zap site. The other thing is, Nick, specifically to you, I would be posting my newsletter on Google because it's going to show how much information you know and that you're putting out some content. If you're blogging on Zap, you could do two things under your posts. You could copy the entire blog here and then hit learn more and link back to your Zap site, or you could just do a preview of the post, learn more, and link it directly to that blog. Everybody tracking? Okay. So that's what your website is. You can give permission for other users. So when you guys are all doing 100 transactions a year and you've hired people to manage everything for you, you can hit users, and then those people can come in and manage specific things within your site. So that's what that piece. Creating ads is exactly what it says it is. Managing your location, yeah, if you're not going to need to do that. And then linked accounts. I'm obviously linked to Century 21. As if you had a couple of different businesses that you are running, you would be able to link multiple accounts to one. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you all really quick and see if you have any questions. Maybe I'm going to unmute you all. Unmute all. Okay, you're all unmuted. Any questions about, yeah, go for it.
So I asked my clients to review me on Zillow and on the Real Satisfied.
Yeah.
And I have one review on my Google My Business, and that's from my first transaction. And my concern is that I overwhelm people with saying, review me in these multiple places, that instead of them reviewing me at all, they're not going to do it. That's my fear, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a valid fear. So I have a couple of suggestions around that, because I do believe that that is a common issue, is that people are like, there's so many places that you need a review and they organically have to come from a person. So the top ones in my mind are the Real Satisfied, which is a direct link that comes post-closing that is going to tie to your quality service award capabilities through Century 21. Super, super important that people fill that survey out. The other ones that I feel are very important. Zillow, because everyone who's searching for a house knows about Zillow. We have to make consumers happy. We want to make Zillow happy. Google, also very important. And Facebook. also very important. So how do we prioritize that? My suggestions are either A or B, and you have to decide what works best for your business. Option A is to create some kind of a letter, and we have a sample one. If you need us to send it to you, we can, where you list out, hey, here's why reviews are really important to my business. Here's a link to all the places that I could use your review. And all you need to do is copy and paste the review that you do on Google onto Zillow, onto Facebook, and complete the Real Satisfied survey. Some people incentivize their reviews so much that they will say, hey, for every review you do, I'll donate $5 to this charity, or I'll give you a $5 gift card to Starbucks for every review you do. That depends on how important those reviews are to you. That's option one. Option two is for you to stagger your requests to people. So let's say that this closing, you said to them, I need you to do Real Satisfied in Zillow. Your next closing, you push people to Real Satisfied in Google, so that you're mixing up your review content. The third option, which I just kind of remembered, is there are services out there that will manage your reviews for you. They can't do anything about Real Satisfied. That comes separate outside of Century 21 system, so that those are, there's no chance that those are being fed in by agents giving themselves good reviews, right? But there are some services that are out there I could get you in touch with, where they will ask for one review and then it will feed it out everywhere. Now, those are pretty costly, about $250 a month.
Ooh.
So you have to know how important your reviews are to you. I do think that reviews are really, really important. For $250 a month, by the way, they'll enter in their review. It will go to Google, Facebook. It will go to Yelp. It will go to your website. So it's going to feed it out everywhere. But I also think that by incentivizing it at $5 per one for the link, copy, paste, I would be sending out $20 gift cards all the time. I would be happy to do that, actually, or donating to a charity. So some people will say every month they'll select a new charity, and then they'll even use that as part of their advertising. So on Facebook, they'll say, hey, this month for every review I get, I'm donating $5 to Cash for Kids, which benefits Easter sales. And that's another ability for them to put a post out there, right, that talks about what they do as a real estate agent. So those are some different ideas I have around that.